She's so fine. Hell of a blows my mind. Hell of a lights my day.
What's good, guys? Today is Friday, January the 8th, 2021. For those that are not aware or cannot hear it in my voice, I'm from Kentucky. I'm in the western part of the state, and I wanted to cover this story because it is from my state. Louisville has hired their fourth police chief since the death of Breonna Taylor. She will start on January the 19th. So let's back it up and go through the changing of the guard, if you will. We started with Steve Conrad. He was going to retire anyway after the death of Breonna Taylor. However, another situation happened in the interim with David McAtee, if you can remember that. The restaurant owner who was shot by police and the body cams were not on. After we got rid of Steve Conrad, we moved on to Robert Schroeder, who became the interim police chief. We got rid of Robert Schroeder. We went to Yvette Gentry. She was the first black woman to lead the department in the death of Breonna Taylor. And that gets us to Erica Shields. You can see Keisha Bottoms behind her. If you're not familiar with her, she is the mayor of Atlanta. Erica Shields was the former ATL police chief. Let's go over this just briefly. So when the city of Louisville decided that they were going to make a job description, if you will, for the police chief job, what they did was they surveyed the residents and asked them what they wanted in a new police chief. They took the comments that they got from the residents, and that's how they shaped the job description for the new police chief. She was selected by a panel unanimously after a month-long search. And on that panel, they had 2 black city council members. Okay. There were 28 candidates total, which included 11 current or former police chiefs, and half of the candidates were black. For those that are not familiar with Erica Shields, I'm going to give you just a brief little rundown on her. She is a proponent of modern police techniques that focus on increasing contacts and cooperation between officers and residents to reduce crime. What this is commonly known as is community policing. I wouldn't necessarily call it modern policing, but it's community policing. It's where they send the officers out and you get to see the officers and talk to the officers, and they become your pals, and it's supposed to deter crime, blah, blah, blah. In the days following George Floyd's death in Minneapolis, she won praise from people because she was very vocal in that she thought the officers that were involved in George Floyd's death, should go to prison. She walked out into the crowds of protesters in downtown ATL and told them that she understood their fears and how they were frustrated. And then Rayshard Brooks happened. June of last year, if you remember, Rayshard Brooks was sitting in the drive-thru of the restaurant where he was alleged to have fell asleep. And he was eventually shot in the back by police. She resigned after that. She said that she stepped down because she thought her presence would be too much of a distraction for a city trying to heal. So back to this panel where she was selected unanimously. One of the council members has been quoted as saying, and her name is Jessica Green, she urged Kentucky's largest city, which is Louisville, to give Erica Shields a, quote, opportunity to earn your trust, end quote. I think that asks a lot of the residents of the city of Louisville, considering how badly their trust was shattered in the killing of Breonna Taylor. You're hiring someone who doesn't have a good track record with these types of situations. I also want to note that while Erica Shields did step down as the former chief of police for ATL, she stayed on with the department in a lesser role. And that's what happens a lot of times, and people don't ever question that. When some kind of controversy happens and these people resign or step down, they're often still employed with that department. You just don't see them. David James is another. He's a city council president, and he's also a former police officer. And he's been quoted as saying, "She was very transparent. She was very authentic, admitted her flaws and mistakes in life. Even when it came to the horrible shooting of Mr. Brooks, she was very forthright about that." So, I just simply wanted to cover this story and let everyone know that they have hired a new and fourth police chief in the city of Louisville. I'm a bit disappointed. Some people on social media have been saying that we essentially got Atlanta's leftovers. And it's sad because Yvette Gentry had done a really, really good job with the city since she had taken over as the interim chief. Now, I don't know that if she applied for that position or even wanted the position full time, but she had done a really good job of leading the department since then. But I just wanted to bring this story to the channel, and I think it's sad that they are continuously asking for people to put their trust in someone, especially in the wake of what happened with Breonna Taylor, and you're asking so much of a city that is still trying to heal, just as Atlanta was, just as Minneapolis is, just as all the cities around the country are. So I'm going to end the story on that note, but I hope you guys all have a great day, and thanks for watching.